Righty, it's that time again, everybody. Yes, 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 we have power. Yeah, here we're back. We ended up getting power. Yes, waited for power. Power is good. Power fuels everything: the videos, the cameras, the printers, the Tinkercad, and all that stuff. And we're going to be checking out Tinkercad and seeing if the 3D printed model of a cell phone teleprompter is going to work or not. So we're doing a version 3 or version 4, whatever it is. And yeah, so welcome aboard. My name's Steve, the retired hobby tech guy, also an American expat living in Korea. So that's kind of fun. And it's early morning. It is, what time is it? It is 6 o'clock in the morning, 24 August, Sunday. So yesterday we did some tests of new camera equipment, so hopefully the video looks a little bit better. And what we'll do is we're just going to jump right into the Tinkercad stuff. So let's go ahead and we'll jump into that. Again, what we ended up doing is going through and finding the Tinkercad, which is a CAD software online. It's kind of like, is it really CAD software? Well, yeah, it is, but it's not as fully developed as, a lot of CAD programs. So in other words, it's simple for me. Okay, so that says a lot right there. Shapes, colors, and easy lines. Anyway, so this is Tinkercad, and I've been working through a series of different teleprompters that I've been working on. So like here's one here, and this is a bigger model. I don't know if I'll print that out. That's kind of huge. But this is the one that I've recently been working on, and this is a cell phone model. So this is based off of the glass being 4 by 6 inches. So if you can see that, yeah, we got a little piece of glass there. And this is meant to be used in conjunction with your cell phone. So what I ended up doing is we actually have our cell phone here that I did up the dimensions, and this should fit right inside of our little cell phone teleprompter. And then we got a slot for the glass that you can see there that goes in, and then yeah, it's a little thick on the back end. It's always good to be thick on the back end a little bit. And with that, hopefully I'm going to get some threaded inserts. I have some stuff on order. Everything's on order. It takes time to get stuff here in Korea. Some metal inserts so that I can insert that, heat sink those into this model here. And that way I can actually put it on a quarter 20 thread and boom, be able to put it on here. I haven't figured out how I'm going to put the camera on there. So this is just kind of the first part. I've got a few ideas of how I guess I could do like an L bracket. So I could do something like, I don't know, let's see, probably something like this. And then we would have to bring it down a little bit. And then have, let's see, we could do L bracket and just kind of messing around right here and do something kind of like an L bracket type of thing. And we could take that down, well, and then we could do like that. So something like that into where you would have a screw come through. So with this, it probably doesn't need to be that, probably doesn't need to be this big. But let's say, for example, if I want to do something like this, and then the camera could sit on top there, we could have a quarter 20 hole, or you could just put a mount for a quarter 20 or whatever it is. So you could just put a hole there, because basically I've got some camera mounts. I think it's an F38 by Ulanzi or something like that, or Falcam or whatever. I can't remember exactly what it is. To put that on the top, and then you could put the other end on the camera, and then that would go there. And then what we could end up doing is, whoa, what are we doing? And then basically what we could end up doing is, let's just do a hole onto this, and this is just kind of arbitrary. We're not really doing this, but we're kind of doing this because I want to try to get some ideas. And you know, we could end up having a hole like that, and we could do this, something like that, and then we could combine these two things together and group those, and so we get a hole there. And so basically we could have a female end for the connector there, and then this would allow this piece to slide up and down to give us that adjustment. So in other words, it'd be right there to give us the adjustment for the camera. So if it ends up, I'd probably have to make that, yeah, that could work. And then that way we would have some adjustment for the camera, depending on whether it's a webcam or a full-size cam or whatever. So yeah, we're just gonna play around with that. So for this is what we have right now. That's kind of like what we're looking at. I even put some little indentations there for charging. So whatever side that you put your phone, you'd be able to have your cable on there, and that's what we ended up doing. So now what we're going to end up doing is we're going to go back, and what we'll end up doing is checking this out. I actually printed it out, started it last night, and then this was the, I guess we could show this too as well, and we'll wait for this to reconnect and kind of give you a little look-see on what we got here. So there it is, that live broadcast, sparing no expense, and there it is. It actually printed out. Now, the thing, this was interesting because I was like, hey, this looks really good, and you know, there it is. I printed it in PLA, and then, but if you notice something, it's got this huge overhang. Well, it's not huge, but I mean, it's an overhang, and I was like, oh no, I forgot to do supports. So I let this print, and it was like 3/4 of the way done, and I was like, man, what is this going to print out or what? I don't know. So that's what it looks like there, and that's a significant overhang. That is, so yeah, I was like, either this is going to crash and burn sometime in the middle of the night, but it actually looks like it printed. So we're going to go get this, and what we'll end up doing is we'll just go ahead and I'll put up a little transition screen, and I've got a little video of me painting it, and then that'll give me time to go into the hobby room, because for some strange reason the cell phone isn't working with Ecamm Live like it was last night. So when I go to the camera sources, yeah, the cell phone doesn't even pop up. But last night it was working, and I don't understand how that works. So let's go ahead and we'll do a little transition scene. You'll see a fast forward of me painting some stuff, and then that'll give me time to bring the print off, and then we'll take a look at it. So with that being said, go ahead and enjoy the transition. And we are back, and here it is. This is it. There it is. So that printed out on our K2 Plus, and it came out nice. I like it. So we can take a look at that. We can see that in that inside, Oh, it's a little stringy. If you can see that in there, how it got a little bit stringy? Yeah, we got some strings. But it printed, nonetheless. I am pretty... So next time we print this, obviously we'll have to do some supports. We'll have to do it, you know, to the bed plate. And now the question is, will the glass fit into the slot that we have there? So here it is. Oh no, is it? Ah, look at that. And it went all the way down where I wanted it. Awesome. It worked out well. Cool. Ended up getting some rounded edges on here that we can see here. That's a little bit of glue, that residue. But we got some rounded edges on this, and the quality turned out really nice. I got some type of a line. You see that line right there? I'm not sure why, but maybe it's because it's black. But yeah, that turned out really nice. Really, really nice. We got a couple of strings, like I said, but everything else turned out super, super nice. And again, the K2 Plus came out really well. Now the question is, will this work as a teleprompter? So what we're going to end up doing is we will go to TelePrompter, and we will pop our script in there, and we'll rotate our camera around, and we'll put our cell phone in there. And if I can pick this up without dropping it, and we'll need and there it is. Stop guilt tripping people to tip more. I'm tired of the guilt trip posts that are trying to force people to tip more. In other words, if you don't tip enough, you're not a good person. Well, how about some truth? Yeah, that would be good. All states require servers to be paid by tips and a wage that comes from restaurants they work for. It's called wage tip. So, yeah. I mean, we get a little bit of that double, because it's not special glass. This is just a 4-inch, a 4 by 6 inch piece of glass, and there's a special type of glass that you would use with a teleprompter so that you don't get like that double exposure thing that we ended up seeing. So let's see if we can see how this goes, because I wanted to see if it would work in this way, which it looks like it does. Basically, each state has laws where restaurants are required to pay servers a combination of tips and a wage. So yeah, it looks like it works out. Cool. So the only other thing to do is, and in case you're wondering, that is TelePrompter. So that TelePrompter program is a free program, and it's Barney Basic, but you can mirror it, it can work, you can add scripts and things like that. So we're good to go on that. So yeah, it looks like we had a successful test of our cell phone holder teleprompter thing. And now we just need to figure out how we're going to do that mount and the backing on this. So for example, of course I don't have a camera here because I cleaned everything up. I actually have everything clean. I think I got a camera over here. So the whole idea is to, if we end up having this, and then we could have the platform I know, this is just horrible. So we could end up having that L bracket that would move, and you could put the camera in the position that you wanted. So we could do it for, you know, like a camera like this, or the other type of camera, which, say for example, we have our Sony FDR AX53, and we could end up saying I made the hole for that a little bit bigger so that it would fit in there, and obviously you're going to need like a curtain or some fabric to drape over the camera so you don't have any problems there. But to bring this camera up to the level where it needs to be, and then of course insert it a little bit, so that L bracket is going to have a slot to where we could have the camera like that. So not only do we need to have the L bracket be able to go up and down, but we also need to have it so it will go back and forth. So we'll need a couple of slots, one on the vertical, one on the horizontal, and yeah, that should work out pretty good. Matter of fact, let's get this back going again. I am really happy for this. Like I said, I think this is version 4 that I've been working on, and let's see how it looks with the camera in there. So you can kind of get an idea of what it would look like. And there it is. I'm tired of the guilt trip post trying to force people to tip more. In other words, if you don't tip enough, you're not a good person. Well, how about some truth? So yeah, that works out pretty good. I like it. And it looks nice. So that's even a bonus on that. Again, what we ended up doing is just getting a piece of glass from a picture frame, which was 4 by 6 inch, and with the dimensions on that, what I ended up doing, we do have some room, so we can see that glass has got a couple of millimeters, probably about 2, maybe 3 millimeters, so it's got some room to slide in there. And yeah, that just came out great. Awesome. I love it. Love it. So anyway, that's what we got going on. I have a new camera set up, so I've got a little bit of lighting going on. And so that's kind of an interesting thing. I've been playing with some of the lighting. I've got a light here. I've got a light here. Excuse me. So I've got a little bit more. And then I also have a light over here as a rim light. So I don't know, does that make a difference? Yeah, it does. Boom. So I got a little bit of a rim light there. So yeah, we're trying to up the production value. Other things that we got going on is the what is it? Oh, we got an IKEA shelving unit that's going to go in the background there, and I'm looking for some, because that wall is like seriously white, and so looking at doing like an accent wall of some type that's currently wallpaper. I'm looking at some peel and stick, maybe do some felt, I don't know, some felt press adhesive board push pin type of stuff, so that way I could have like you know, an accent part of that wall, but then also I could use it and I could like hang stuff on it. So we'll see how that goes. I'm not really sure on all of that. So anyway, that's what we got going on. We got some cool stuff going on. Like I said, what we ended up doing is printing out our cell phone printer thing that we got going on. And therapist says, hey, looks great. Yeah. Also, The backlight looks good. It gives you a nice outline. Okay, yeah, I was kind of wondering about that. I wasn't, I've been playing more with the lights and everything, and like the fill lights that I have. I think it's a fill light, a fill key light, fill, and then rim light, according to YouTube. People who do this stuff tried to incorporate all this, and I spared no expense. I want you to know. You want to see my diffuser? This is my diffuser. So yeah, we've got kind of a bright light here, and this paper towel is my diffuser to soften that light up. So, and that's what I got on this one too as well. So even if I increase it, it's not bad. So yeah, kind of good stuff. So we're trying to figure out, what is kind of like the best setting, and then we'll get some practical lights as well, and we'll see how that goes. Ferritha says, seeing new printout stuff makes me giddy. I can't wait for the replacement parts for my printer to arrive Monday. Finally found the problem. Oh no printing. That is not good. Yeah, definitely got to get that stuff fixed. That's luckily with the K2 Plus, I think the only thing that I had problems with was a clogged nozzle, and that was at the very beginning, but I didn't know how to really unclog it, so I could probably go through and reinstall it and unclog that 0.4 nozzle. But since I got that micro Swiss hot end, I put that onto there, and the thing has been working great. And oh, by the way, that the thing that the kitchen island that my K2 Plus is sitting on, which, let me see, for those people who don't know, I don't think I have a picture of that. Let me go get a quick picture, and then I'll throw it up. And so I'll be right back. So watch the cool transition. Here we go. So, yeah, let's see, what do we got now? Dun, 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 na, 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 na. And we'll do that. And I want to throw this picture up, if I can figure out how to do that. Okay, do that, then that. AirDrop. Of course, AirDrop doesn't work when I need it to, so I'll have to send it to messages. I'll have to send it to me. And boom, there we go. So, let's see, what do we got? Therapist says, if you get weird problems and error codes related to nozzle heating and extruder motor, it's the cable connection to the print head. Mine had a bad power connection, black pins and all. Wow. So you're talking the cable that goes from the head and goes down that arm and then into the side on the inside of the unit, that master cable, that's the one you're talking about? If it is, I think that's the same problem that Uncle Jesse had with his K2 Plus. It was giving him a bunch of error codes and stuff, and then it ends up they sent him a bunch of parts, and then he finally got the cable, and boom, it worked. So hopefully that's it. Yeah, having a down printer, that is a bit rough. So let me see. Oh, there it is. And yes, that cable. The connector on the print head went bad. Oh no. Oh, that's bad. So the connector on the print head went bad, so you just need to get a new print head, or you need to get a new print head and cable because they're jacked up. But you said you got the cable, right? I'm not awake yet. Placing parts arrive Monday, blah, blah, blah. Bad power connection, black pins, but yes. The cable, yes. The connector on the print went bad. Okay, gotcha. I got it. A little slow this morning, but I got it. Got it. Let me see. Okay, so for those people who are wondering, will this work? Bam! There it is. There is the kitchen island that I purchased that ended up as the new home for the K2 Plus. So yeah, that's what we ended up having. That thing right there works out so well. It's 120 centimeters long, and of course, you know, the K2 Plus is basically 24 by 24. You know, poop chute on the back, but it fits perfectly. You know, we can see that we got that whole size there, and that thing is sturdy. That is actually, and it's really high up as well. It's higher than a kitchen, than 30 inches, so it actually puts the printer at a height of where I don't have to like bend down or bend over or whatever, because I don't like bending over. But the great thing about this, it puts it at a height of where everything is like face level for me because I'm 6'2", and it just works great. And it's sturdy. Holy crow, is it sturdy. It ends up being really nice. And it was made of real wood. Of course, excuse me, came from China. And living here in Korea, it took a little while to get here. There was all that. And no instructions. Ended up that finally started putting it together, and then I finally got something back from the from the seller who finally got instructions. But by that time, they were like, "Hey, you know, they didn't know if they could get them." Then they emailed me. I already had it together, and yeah, it ended up working out okay. Which is weird because I think you would have that stuff included. So it wasn't even like, sorry, there was no instructions. It was just like, but they're in Chinese. Honest to God, it was like, I don't care if they're in Chinese. There's probably pictures. I can work with pictures. So it ended up. But that thing is so steady. It is so solid. It is way better than that computer desk that I ended up having. I thought that was sturdy. Oh no. Computer desk kind of rocked back and forth. And I guess because it didn't have cross beams. But this, rock solid. Rock solid. So when I ended up putting the K2 Plus on top of there, it ends up, we did a full calibration with input shaping, the whole 9 yards, the 15-minute deal thing, and that worked out great. And like I said, this print came out wonderful. I mean, wonderful. PLA, Creality Hyper PLA, and this is probably one of the better prints that this thing has churned out. And I think it has something to do with, you know, I got the Ramen R3 bed, graphite bed on there. I've got the Micro Swiss hot end on there. And then, yeah, this is really, really, really good. So I was pleasantly surprised. So, yeah, it ends up, that's the good thing. Island works out really well. There says, on a good note, my Falcon A1 engraver shipped. That gives me 2 days, Monday and Tuesday, to get the air filter design printed and installed. Okay, cool. I'm still looking at getting a laser engraver. Excuse me, I think I'm going to hold out for that Raleigh Lasermatic, that Galvomatic laser thing. But that's probably going to be way later on until next year, because I'm kind of blowing my load on the kitchen island, the IKEA cabinet thing that we got coming in. That's going to come in a few days. And then I also purchased a Elgato Facecam 4K. So hopefully we'll get a little bit better picture than what we're getting now. I don't know. It looks really good. And then I also picked up a VM20 from Nearstream for the video switcher. So we're going to kind of see, I don't know, that VM20, honestly, it depends on how well it works, but it's HDMI out that would go to the video switcher. But you know what? I don't know. Maybe the Facecam 4K from Elgato, the videos I've seen on that are incredible. So yeah, I might be sending back the VM20 because that's $260 right there. And the Facecam 4K, that is like $199. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, might get a couple face cams, and hopefully they'll be able to work. So I can get like a Facecam 4K for this view, and then another one for that view there. So, which that's not bad either. That's an EMET 4K, and that turns out really well. But it depends on how the Facecam 4K comes out. So Ferris says, I'll report on how it performs. So that Falcon A1. Cool. That's going to be pretty interesting. Falcon A1. A1 laser engraver. Dun 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 dun. And let's see, lasers, engravers. So you got did you get the Falcon A1 or did you get the A1 Pro? Ferris says, I'm using an Insta360 link camera at home, also 4K and a gimbal. Oh, cool. Got it. Imagine all the stuff that you can do now that you couldn't do a handful of years ago. Oh, okay, yeah. A1 Pro 20 blue 2 watt IR. Yeah. We actually got that. Pull that up. There it is. It's in stock. As if I didn't need to be tempted. So there it is. 20 watt blue, 2 watt IR, 350 plus materials. You're going to be busy. Smart camera focus of 0.012 precision. Compact design, of course. Everything is awesome on that thing. So we can see that what do we got? 3 times faster, 600 millimeters per second. So we got that. App control, smart touchscreen, camera, workflow app, all-in-one laser system, 20 watt blue, 2 watt IR, so you can do metal and wood and all that stuff. Okay. Nice. Tool swap in 3 steps. Yeah, that's pretty nice. Fire alarm, the whole 9 yards. Batch processing. That is very tempting. Very tempting indeed. Flame detection. Purifier. Vent. Emergency. Monitor from anywhere. I'm just getting comfortable with leaving the house and letting the printer do its thing with K2 Plus. And, you know, starting a print, having it run all night, that's not bad as well. I can do that stuff. But I'll still check my phone. Okay, cool. That looks like a pretty cool system. Oh, yeah. Lasers, dude. That looks good. New York girl. Hey, welcome to the show. I have a Falcon A1, and I now combined 3D and wood, and wow, is it awesome. Cool. Like I said, I'm looking to get one laser engraver. Maybe not the Falcon A1, but I'm kind of going towards that Raleigh Lasermatic, Galvomatic laser with the laser and the Galvo thing. That's going to be like $2 or $3 grand or whatever. But I figure buy once, cry once. And this is only like $1,000 for the Pro, so. But man, that looks nice. Top view camera, precise positioning, pre-calibration, batch processing. Wow. That beats the hell out of my little rinky-dink 5-watt laser that had like a 100 millimeter by 100 millimeter work area. That looks really good. Oh wow. That is definitely nice. Man, nice. 358 by 268. It's respectable. Wow, that looks really good. That looks really good. I gotta say, that looks pretty impressive. Yeah, that'd be interesting to see how you combine the wood and your 3D printer stuff and how those things coexist and what you make. That would be cool to check out and see what you do. So if you ever want to send me an email and shoot me some pictures, that'd be really cool. I'd like to take a look at that and see the other ideas and the other things that people are doing. So yeah, as if I don't have enough stuff to do already. Okay, so anyway, that's what we got going on. Trying to do a little bit of the camera stuff here. I don't know how this looks live. I haven't checked this out because, like I said, I'm doing new stuff with the cameras and the lights. And let me see if I can pull up the video. A little bit of the camera. Okay, it's not too bad. Seems like it's a little orangish. Our girl says, yeah, keep me informed, send me pics, that would be awesome. And I'm going through and I'm looking at, maybe I need to make some adjustment. It's pretty good as far as the representation on Ecamm Plus with what I get on the streaming. I think with YouTube, it's a little bit not as orange-ish or warmish. So we can adjust some stuff. Veritha says, yes, really excited. I bet. Already have some acrylic lined up for testing. Of course, that's how it always goes. Let's see if we can up the brightness just a hair. And then the temperature, we'll bring the temperature down a little bit. Yeah. Cool. Alrighty. There, if this pops up, it says the Galvamatic is going to blow the Falcon out of the water. It will be amazing. Yeah, but it's got an amazing price as well. So that's why that's got to wait a little while. Like I said, blowing the load on a bunch of stuff. So, and actually, I had to dig into my emergency hoard money. So I've been kind of like squirreling this away. It's like $150 or something like that. In over the last year or so, a little bit of money here and there. So that's been my emergency thing. So we'll see how that works out. I think if I end up spending too much, I'm gonna have to throw that to the wife and say, hey, oh yeah, by the way, here you go. This will offset some of the way too much stuff that I've been buying. But yeah, the Galvamatic it does look hot. It does look hot indeed. So we'll see how that goes. Matter of fact, Galvamatic. Let's see. And we'll take a look at that. So for those of you who don't know, the Raleigh Automation, and I've talked with this guy. This guy, he's pretty impressive. He's really concerned, and really his heart is in the right place as far as quality and workmanship and putting out good products. And this is the Galvamatic, the 40-watt flying Galvo desktop laser with optional fiber source. So it'll have a 40-watt diode and a 20-watt fiber. So again, you're looking at a regular work bed, a 16-inch in Freedom units, which I don't know what that is in regular, or 24 by 16, which would be the size that I would get. because with the 40 watt and the 20 watt fiber, you're looking at $3,000. And if you go to the 16 by 16, it's $2,800. So really a couple $100 more. Might as well go big or go home. So yeah, and look at that. Excuse me. Flying Galvo scanning up to 2,000 millimeters a second. Scan area is 100 by 100, so in freedom units, that's 4 by 4 inches. 5,000 millimeters a second squared acceleration up to 800 millimeters per second. Liquid cooled diode. 20 watt Q switch fiber source, calibrated, works with light burn and the whole 9 yards. I don't think I would get the rotary panel for the stuff like that, but man, this thing looks hot. And air assist, speed up all image scans. Look at how fast that goes. That is crazy. Just amazing. Rotary panel. I don't think I would get the rotary panel. You know, usually I would buy something and get all of the bells and whistles, but honestly, I don't think I would be doing cans and bottles and, you know, cups and whatever, thermoses, stuff like that. I think I would just stick with the thing there, you know, the jig. But even then, their Lasermatic MK2 on their XW, which is 24 by 15 point, that's $1,000 right there. Comes in 10, 20, and 30 watt. So if I don't get the Galvo, I'll probably get this here because that's a real good size. So, but then, yeah, we'll see. Everything looking good, Steve. Also like additional light on the paint station. Now you just need some lighting on those nice models on the side. Yeah, going to be working on that. We'll see. And then, of course, that back wall, we got to figure out something with that. Bertha says, you got until November until that engraver comes out. So time to save up. And I can put down the $100 to kind of hold that. Which would be something, what does that come out to? Yeah, $100. And let's see. Oh, here it is. Look at the top there. Delivery expected to start in November. Free shipping at in-region warehouse. Looking late November for in-region rest of the world. Early November with paid shipping from China. So it talks about putting down $100 refundable at any time prior to the product being shipped. Once machines are ready to ship, we'll email each customer to complete their order. $100 discount will be included to offset the cost of this pre-order. So $3,000, $2,900. I think I might have spent another $100, but I'm gonna have to wait until next month until payday. But yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. We'll see. We will see how that goes. So yeah, I think I'll throw down that $100 and we'll see. We'll get that good to go. So yeah, fun stuff. Fun stuff going on here. So anyway, that's what we wanted to do. Wanted to kind of share everything that we're kind of doing here, kind of see some of the improvements that we're doing. I don't know if I got some glare on my glasses as I'm looking at the camera. I know if I look here, I got some glare coming, but when I look at the camera, I can't see enough out of my peripheral to see if I got glare. But hopefully this will clear things up a little bit. And the lighting working, going as cheap as I can with as much as I can. Got to do that. But yeah, just wanted to share the new and improved cell phone teleprompter, and we're going to be throwing this up after I do some other testing and get some inserts and try to do that L bracket thing to see how we can get that to work. That'll be a separate piece. So that's why I wanted to have a little bit of material here so we could do an insert there, and then also on the bottom as well, to have an insert to mount it onto tripod. Again, it's going to be a quarter inch insert, and we'll have that L bracket so we could lift it up and down and back and forth. So yeah, came out good. Version 4, we're on version 4, so we got that going on. So anyway, with that being said, I am actually starving because I ate at like 4 o'clock yesterday, and I'm hungry. So haven't even had my coffee yet because I wanted to do this first and show you. I was anticipating, dreaming about 3D printing and whether this thing actually printed without supports, but it did. We just got some stringing on that overhang, but like we ended up, you see that little stringing that we got there, but nothing. It's just a test model, proof of concept. So yeah, just one of a few that I'm going to print out, so I don't really care about that. But next time I will print out supports, and it'll probably come out a lot better. Imagine that. What are the odds? So anyway, we're going to leave you all. Thanks everybody for watching. Therafist, New York Girl, and a couple other people that are watching after the fact. Appreciate it. Again, Steve, retired hobby tech guy here in Korea, American expat, and we're going to just kind of close this out and see if this works. Yep, that still works. Send me an email. New York Girl, send me an email. There's the email address, and again, Therafist knows about that as well. He sent me the pics of the xenomorph that he's doing, that he did, and that looks pretty cool. Just to say hi or questions or whatever it is, the email's there. Usually I answer in 1 or 2 days. I always answer my emails. And then you can buy me coffee if you want. That's what the people and the scrolling and the ticker and the people over here, they bought me coffee. If not, I don't really care. The best thing that you could do is like the video. So that would be awesome if you could do that. That would help out with the algorithm. So with that, thanks everybody. Have a good day, and we'll continue making and printing here on The Buried Life, and we'll see you all in the next video. All right? Peace. Good stuff. Good stuff. Thank you, people. Therafist, New York Girl. Awesome.